Now we live. So we're gonna get it cracking. So I'm gonna put this, maybe come like that. Mm,
You can use your setup to a live,
yeah.
like not how the monitors are.
Mm-hmm. Um. All right, guys. So tonight the topic is we're gonna be myth busting the science behind running shoes. So if you're just now tuning in, welcome. I'm about to get started. So I'm not taking no questions. I'm not gonna be looking at the comment section until maybe like the last 10 minutes of the video, right? So if you're still here until the end, I mean, thank you. So the first common myth that we're looking at is the myth of the perfect running shoe, right? And let's talk about that. A lot of people think that there is this thing out there where there's a perfect running shoe, or and if you get this shoe, right, you will run faster or you won't get hurt or your times will improve. But there's no such thing as the perfect running shoe. And think about what a person think about when you're thinking of the perfect running shoe. The first thing you're gonna think about is the more expensive the shoes is, the better it is. That's gonna be the first thing. You're gonna think that okay, if I spend 250 US dollars on a pair of running shoe or cross training shoe, that makes this shoe the best shoe. And this is not necessarily the case. And the only reason why I could sit here and say this to you guys is because I was signed to a shoe company before and I've actually have experience with getting like the most top of the line shoe and also getting a shoe that's a regular like cheap. Some people would say it's too good to be true, like a cheaper shoe, right? So the first thing is the more expensive the shoe, the better it is. There's no such thing. The price of the shoe doesn't make the shoe. Really and truly, what you want to consider when you're buying a pair of running shoes is not the price. You want to put it on your foot, right? You want to put that shoe on your foot and think about what you're trying to do in the shoe. If you're gonna be doing runs or you're gonna be lifting, does it suit the purpose of what you're trying to do? Right? Because you'll see they use I don't even want to get too deep into this, but the price of the shoe doesn't determine the quality of the shoe, right? At that point, you're only paying for a name. You're only paying for a certain brand, and certain brands have repetition. Like they have like a certain repetition about it. It's like okay, Nike or Puma or New Balance, Asics, right? They have a certain reputation about them. But that's the first thing I want you guys to think about. Don't just focus on, okay, if I'm buying a pair of running shoe, if I buy the most expensive shoe, that makes this shoe the best shoe. Not necessarily true, right? That is the first thing that we're going to talk about. The next thing you want to look at here, and the next thing that I would say is most people would say that you need a specific shoe for every different type of run. So for example, if you're gonna do a longer run, you need a specific shoe. If you're gonna do a 5K, you need a specific shoe. If you're gonna do 100 meters, you need a specific type of shoe. Well, true. If you're gonna run 100 meter all out, you're gonna need a spikes if you're trying to be competitive. But if you're just a regular person, you don't necessarily need. Because I've seen it. I've seen where even the hype with. You remember when Nike Air, the Nike Air brand, right? The Nike Air brand is the brand where like when you have Jordan, you have Nike Air. Nike Air is the one with the little cushion, the little air pads in the bottom of the shoe. And you guys remember when the first technology came out and then they had those with like the little thing at the front. My wife bought it and she bought one for me. I was heavy into it too. and I'm like, okay, this shoe is a good shoe. Okay, let me try it on and wear it. And when I tried to do a long run in it, it didn't feel good. When I tried to sprint in it, it didn't feel good. It made my ankle feel weird. It was unstable, right? And that's just one specific instance where, not because every year a new shoe comes out and it's all specific to certain things, it doesn't mean that this is the best shoe for what you're trying to do. What you want to focus on is really and truly your foot strength. What type of foot do you have? Um, are you somebody who has been training for a long time? Or are you new to training? I would say if you're newer, you don't want to go with the most craziest technology, because they save the craziest technology for people who have been running for a long time, or like a marathon runner or a distant runner. Like those type of technology, they could benefit from it more than a regular person, if that makes sense. Right? So you don't have to be very specific when it comes on to, okay, I run the 5K, so I only need this type of shoe, or I run the 10K, so I only need this type of shoe. You don't have to be very specific when it comes on to that. That is the next thing. Let's see what's going on here. Give me a second. I'm gonna check up on the gram. Leave a one if you can hear me. If my sound quality is good on the gram, you tell me. If it's not, we can fix it. Let me know. Leave a one. Same thing over here on YouTube. Leave a one if the quality is good. My mic quality. If it's not, you let me know. Let's move on to the next one. Some people would say minimalist shoes are better. Basically, these type of shoes are like those shoes where, um you ever see people in it, like people who go to the gym, are they use those little flat shoes, those little shoes where it forms to the bottom of your foot, and they're like, okay, this is the most perfect shoe for what we're trying to do, right? That's the next myth. Again, the underlying theme tonight is, what is your foot strength like, right? Because I'm not just speaking random here. I'm speaking based on, I've interacted with athletes who have foot problems, and I myself have tested different theories with shoes, and it surprised me the shoes that the athlete is drawn to, right? Those are the things that you have to pay attention to. So the minimalistic, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, what is the athlete, what is the athlete training for, and what is their foot strength like? What type of foot do they have? Do they have any underlying injuries? Those are the things you have to pay attention to. The next thing we're going to talk about here is the science backed based shoes, like the shoes with like the cushion, the impact, the comfort, the stability. You know those buzzwords, the cushion shoes, the shoes that takes impact off your foot. But think about it. If you get a shoes and it takes impact off the bottom of your foot, where is the impact going? Like, are you gonna be, because you're gonna get impact somewhere. Is it more, if you are you sacrificing the impact or the cushion, right, for stability of the shoes? All right. So for example, you get a shoes with great stability around the ankle region. Are you sacrificing cushion? Right. These are things that are not necessarily the most important things when it comes on to picking a shoe. What you want to focus on is your foot strength, and what are you trying to accomplish in the shoe, right? What is the main thing that you're trying to do in the shoe? And the next one we want to look at here is the big thing around flexibility, foot movement, range of motion in the shoe. Right? That this is a big one that I see. This is a big one that I see with with like technology nowadays, where it's like, okay, people are pushing, even on kids, they're pushing these shoes where it's flex material, where apparently it adjusts to your foot or adjusts to the bottom of your foot. If if you're trying to apply a certain amount of force in the ground, for example, I'm a sprinter and I'm trying to apply a certain amount of force in the ground. If my shoes is solely focused on, and think about it, as a sprinter, you train in mostly shoes, like cross trainer shoes most of the time. You're not training in your spikes 9 months out of the year, right? You may train in spikes 3 months when you really think about it, and the rest of the time you're really and truly training in sneakers. And most athletes have multiple pairs of shoes, and what they do, most runners, they have multiple pairs of shoes, and what they do is they switch them out. So think about the movement you're doing. That's what you want to focus on. Like, I went and ran a 5K in a shoes that I was training in every day, and my calf got tight, right? And then my calf got tight, and then it was almost like I blamed it on the cushion of the shoe. But really and truly, I was not doing a lot of concrete running and um, hard surface running, right? So if you're doing hard surface running, you're gonna want something with a little bit more cushion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if it's the most expensive shoes is the best shoe. What you want to focus on is what is your ankle stability like, what is your hips like, your gait, like how do you your gait, how your stride length and your stride frequency. Those are the things. We could do a whole different video about that, but those are things that you need to look at. I hope you guys are following me. I'm gonna read a couple of the comments and then keep it going, but I hope you guys are following me on what I'm trying to do here. Guys, if you guys don't have any questions about running shoe, I'm not gonna really pay attention to any of the questions tonight. Maybe at the end I'll look at other questions, but not right now. Like, I really need to get this out to you guys. I really need to, because I've been getting a lot of questions about what's the best running shoe, and I've tried them all, and there's no one perfect one. You have a question? What's your question?
Related to running shoes.
Huh?
It's related to running
It
shoes.
has to be related to running shoes.
What are your thoughts on if you have if you're training in these pair of sneakers that are like super cushiony and supportive, uh do you believe that like if you train in them all the time that your feet do get not as strong, like they get weak, and once you actually, because it's taking so much like the cushion's taking so much pressure off off your foot, that when you run in spikes or obviously something that doesn't have as much support, that you're more likely to injure your small ligaments in your foot.
Done for me. You have to make it simple. Put it into like one sentence.
Like, do you believe that training in high, like a very cushioned running shoe for a long period of time can make your foot like, maybe I should rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Do
Go
you
again.
think that it's important to incorporate barefoot training?
Yes. Not when you're running, right? Or sprinting. I think that's a hazard. Unless you could find a surface where it's like completely like there's nothing there that's gonna poke the bottom of your foot. Think about how much when you run or sprint, like you're going 5 times your body weight into the ground, right? So if there's something on the ground, it could poke the bottom of your foot easily, right? So you could incorporate barefoot training if you're doing like mobility stuff or your strength training. I like to go I like to go barefoot for strength training, specific lifts, not all lifts, but specific lifts. But that's basically what you're saying is, should you incorporate barefoot running?
That was one of my questions. And the other one was just like, for somebody with a foot like bunion on their foot,
Yeah.
would you say like getting like a super cushiony, like thick sole cushiony shoe
Mm-hmm.
is almost making it easier for their foot so that when it comes time for competition and they put spikes on, their foot isn't used to the impact, so they'll be more likely to hurt themselves.
Yeah, I could see that happening. And for somebody with a bunion, you wanna you almost want almost like it's first sprinter, you almost want a little bit of discomfort there, right? So I would say you want to get a shoe that forms to their foot instead of focusing on cushion, right? Because the bunion sticks out to the side. So you want to get a shoe that forms to your foot instead of focusing on, okay, what type of cushion does the shoe have? Yeah, all right. That was a good question, by the way. We're moving on. The next myth that we're gonna talk about here is shoe fit. Shoe fit matters most. Like, okay, um, the most important, the most important thing is, okay, how does the shoe fit? The the toe space, the length, the width of the shoe. I can personally say I've worn Nike, I've worn Adidas, I've worn New Balance, A6. I've worn them all, and most running shoe are, unless you have specialty shoe with a shoe with like a wide toe box or something. Most running shoe are pretty standard. All of them are pretty much close together. So I think again it comes back to, do you have an underlying injury? As Dee was saying, do you have a bunion, some type of foot injury? Then that would make sense why you would need a specialty shoe. But if none of these issues are going on, I don't think toe space makes a difference. I don't think length or width makes a difference. I think it all depends on what you're trying to do in the shoe, right? Um, One thing I would say is when it comes to the fit matters. I think understanding your arch is very important because some people are a little bit more flat-footed. Some people have a pronounced arch, like I myself have a pronounced arch, and I know people who have um flat foot. So I think if you understand what type of foot you have, then it makes it easier because some running shoe have like a arch support, some are just flat right through, some have almost like a cushion. So it's almost like you have to find your neutral position because there's never going to be the perfect fit or the perfect shoe because you could think one shoe fits the best. Like for a long time, I thought Puma shoes was like the best running shoe ever until I put like a New Balance shoe on my foot and then it feels different and I like it as well. But then I put like a On Run on my foot and I still like the On Run. And then I would put something like a One Mix. This is like a random brand. This is not a big name brand. You go buy a One Mix shoes, it's not gonna cost you $50, right? And it fits perfectly. There's the arc. It fits good. I like it, right? And I wouldn't say, okay, Nike has the best shoe or Adidas have the best shoe. Right? It all depends on what you're trying to do. For example, myself as a sprinter, shoes with cloth at the top, because some shoes has more of like a harder material at the top. If the material is too hard, I find that when I apply force to the ground when I'm sprinting, it kind of push against the front and it almost feels hard like you're in spikes all the time because spikes feels like that because it has a hard stuff thing at the front. It has the plate at the bottom, so it's gonna feel very hard. But if you have a running shoe that feels like that, it's not comfortable to train in all the time. So you have to think about what your activity is. If you're doing agility stuff or you're playing like you're running, you don't want something that's gonna be too hard, right? So the next myth here is how the shoe fits your foot shape. I think this is a big one. Um, the myth is, okay, how the foot shoes your fits your foot means that, okay, you're gonna get a better feel of the shoe. Not necessarily true because so for example, your some shoe like a Puma 9 and an Adidas 9 feels different. Like a one makes 9 and a Nike 9 feels different. And they could be in the same weight class, but they feel different, right? And at times it all depends on the activity that you're doing in the shoe. But I'm not taking questions until I'm done covering my topic, bro. So don't even go eat. Save your questions for the end. I'm not gonna take no questions until I'm done. And only questions I'm taking tonight are about running shoe because I've been getting a lot of questions about running shoe. Okay, I see my real peeps rolling in over here on on YouTube. This is where we're at. What's up though? Yeah, the topic tonight is we're myth busting the science behind running shoe because I've been getting a lot of questions surrounding what is the best running shoe, which shoe is the best for long run, which shoe is the best for short run. So if you're just now tuning in, the full video is gonna be posted on YouTube, so you have to go to YouTube to check out the full video. And I'm gonna continue now. So the next thing we want to look at here, we were talking about, does the fit matters most, right? Like how the shoe fit, does it matter most? Um, the next thing I want to look at here is, does the fit of the shoe impact your running performance? Um, I could honestly say a heavier shoe for me is better when I'm warming up, like when I'm up, like doing drills, when I'm doing plyometrics, when I'm gonna do the run, when I'm doing like drills, plyos for sprinting, right? A heavier shoe feels better to me. But once I get into like a short sprint, like for example a 300, a lighter shoe feels a little bit better to me, right? Because I've tried them and I train in shoes mostly. Like I only put spikes on maybe like once a week, twice a week. That's free game, by the way. If shoes feel, the lighter the shoe for the shorter, more explosive, quicker runs, it feels better. But when I'm gonna do something like a 10-minute jog or something, I don't want the light shoes. I want something with a little bit more cushion, support, stability, and balance. So I would say the impact of the fit of the shoes on your running performance makes a huge difference. Um, Risk of injury. Honestly, I don't think the shoes has anything to do with injury. I think injury has everything to do with your body, how you're made up, what you did prior to whatever physical activity you're doing. Did you warm up properly? Did you go through a good warm up process? These are the things that matter most when it comes on to injury, or these are the things you have to take into account when it comes on to injury, right? So think about that. Think about that, right? That's gonna be the biggest thing. That's gonna be the biggest thing when it comes on to injury. It has nothing to do with the shoe. You don't get hurt because of a shoe. You get hurt because in most cases you didn't go through a proper warm up. Maybe you're unfit for whatever activity you're trying to do. Maybe you're out of shape. Maybe you're trying to push beyond the limits. Maybe you didn't. There's little variables that goes into account when it comes on to that. So, all right, when it comes on to fit, does fit increase efficiency and comfort? Uh, yeah. Go back to what I was just saying about performance. I prefer a lighter shoes when I'm doing a shorter, more explosive run. So I would say yes. It does it does play a little bit of a part in efficiency and comfort when you're trying to do specific runs. Um, does does the fit of the shoe does the fit of a shoe increase your or improves your running mechanics or sprinting mechanics? No, it don't, because I've seen people in the coarsest shoes you could think about, right? And they don't look like they just can afford a good pair of shoe. right? It don't look like their mechanics is good. So it doesn't, and it, not because you have a crispier shoe doesn't mean your mechanics is gonna be like boom instantly fixed. Because I've seen races where people come there and they're barefoot or they have sneakers on and they beat you with the crispest shoe, like the newest pair of shoes, and you get beat by somebody who has just like their shoe has a hole in it, right? So I don't think the shoe improves your running mechanics. I think in order to improve your running mechanics, you have to focus on mechanics, and this is where I come in. If you're following me here on TikTok, I post multiple videos on how to improve your running performance. If you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, it's linked in my bio. I don't know how TikTok works in terms of just click on my profile, click on the Lifestyle Addicts profile, Rockstar Kato, and somewhere in that description or in my little bio thing, it should say YouTube. Just hit that link and you won't regret it. But no matter what pair of shoes you have, it's not gonna fix your technique. It's not gonna fix your running form. You're not gonna run better, even if you buy the most expensive shoes. As a matter of fact, what's the most expensive running shoes? What's the most expensive running shoes? Is it the Nike ones? Or is it Puma ones? More than Puma? Doubt it. Guys, can anybody tell me what's the most expensive running shoe is? Leave it in the comments somewhere. Um, Tonight's over here on YouTube. Tonight's topic, weird thing. We're talking about we're myth busting the science of running shoe. I'm taking questions at the end. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. You guys have to wait till I get to the end before I start taking questions. So if you're here until the end, I will answer a few of your questions. So let's move on. The next myth we're gonna talk about is finding your perfect match. Like some people mystify the running shoe. They're like, okay, yo, listen, man. Like I put these Adidas on, and I'm telling you, there's just nothing else like it. It increased in my stride length, my landing, my foot landing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. The only way to do these things is to improve your form. You have to spend time improving your sprint drills. Okay. So apparently you're right. The most expensive running shoe is the Nike. Wait, what is the AP? What is the APL McLaren? Hold on, I'm about to find out because this person is trolling. You can't troll me, bro, because I'm gonna find out right now. What running shoes is 400 in APL and McLaren? Isn't McLaren a car? I didn't know they made shoes. McLaren is a car, isn't it? Am I bugging? Oh, they do make shoes.
What does it look like?
My
Oh,
bad,
those
bro. You
ones.
right.
Those ones.
What are these? I see even a more expensive one here. This is a running shoe,
Yeah, you haven't seen those?
but I don't see nobody running in these.
Mm.
These are not running shoes. These look like fashion shoes, bro. These don't look like running shoes at all. These just look like people who are trying to be cute. Yo, that's crazy. I didn't know. I learned something new tonight. I didn't know McLaren made running shoes. Ryan, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Nike SB Prime. Sound like you trolling, bro. Oh, you mean Adidas SB Primes. Those are spikes though. We're not talking about spikes tonight. We're gonna have a whole different discussion about spikes, guys. So listen, my goal is to come to you guys with more topics like these. I'm trying to find my way out here in the streaming world. And I don't want to veer off who I am as a person. So I've been coming up with topics, and this is one of the topics. So if you guys made it to this part of the video and you're tuning in, um, let me know if you like what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna continue doing it. Yeah, but I didn't know that McLaren made shoot Mac. Isn't that a car company? I'm pretty sure that's a car company. But let's move on. It says finding the perfect shoe, you're I think individual needs and preference is important when it comes on to finding the perfect shoe. You shouldn't not the perfect shoe is not going to be the most expensive one. The perfect shoe is going to be tailored to what you are trying to do as a person, right? Because even the Nike shoes, every type of shoes, and the shoes that she trains in on a daily basis, and she has a real foot problem. She has a real foot problem. Every time she can't get on the ball of the foot, maybe like once a week we'll get it, right? For like a couple seconds. And the shoes that she's been rocking right now is a one mix shoes. It's not even the most, and I bought her she we, like the most I bought her like the white toe box shoes cost like the money that we spent on the white toe box shoes I could buy four pair of one mixes with it, and there was only one pair in the store. Just put that into perspective. So I would say yes, needs and preferences is very important when it comes on to picking the shoe that's gonna fit for what you're trying to do. So um, consider different types of running shoe. You always wanna look at different ones, see what works for you, and don't lock yourself into one brand because you know what if you try something else and it gives you never know. And I think most of the new technology right now is all the same. Um, Stability in the shoes and that's something that important. Um, the minimalist shoes, I'm not a big fan of the low profile, whatever. I'm not a big fan of those type of things because a shoe is supposed to do what a shoe is supposed to do. You're not supposed to feel like you're on the ground. So, now that we talked about like the whole you out there you have big brands, so you have the Nikes, you have the Pumas, and apparently McLaren. So there's a million type of shoe companies out here, right? There's a million different shoe companies. I've seen it all. I was signed to Puma for 5 years. I've had Adidas. My first university that I went to, it was Asics, and apparently Asics is the big brand or whatever. And for some reason, all the kids at my school had shin splints. So I don't think Asics was the big brand. What I think is you have to look beyond the shoe. You have to take an holistic approach to whatever your sport is or whatever activity you're trying to do, right? If you're a runner, you need to be strength training. You need to be doing foot strength training. You need to be doing core strength training, legs, glutes. These are the things that matter. The shoe don't matter. Like those are the things that matter. The next thing you want to look at here, if you're trying to go beyond the shoe, look beyond the shoe. You want to improve your running form, your running efficiency. You want to do things to prevent injuries like cooling down after a workout. You want to dedicate days to mobility work. You want to do, I said strength training already. You want to focus on those things. You want to, the big thing that I stress is um, proper form. You want to run with proper form. And um, whosoever this is, niche, I'm going to ping this comment, right? This person right here, this right here is a big, so a lot of times when you're getting shin splints, it's because you're not running correctly or you're not doing whatever exercise you're doing correctly. Sometimes you could, because I've seen people with the most expensive shoes, not the McLaren shoes, but like the most expensive shoes, and they still got shin splints, right? So y- it brings me back to my point I'm trying to make here, the importance of proper technique, the importance of running with proper form. If you're a beginner runner or you're a new runner, learn how to run correctly. Don't just put some brand new shoes on or go buy the most expensive shoes. And because you can afford it, it means that you're going to be fine. Learn how to do whatever you're trying to do correctly, right? And this is where I come in. Shameless plug. Um, I preach running form, sprint form. That is the basis of everything. So if you're new, welcome. Go check out, if you're following me on Instagram or YouTube, any one of these socials, go check. It's all one hub. Go check out my YouTube channel. I post whatever you see on Instagram. That's just a couple seconds to the longer video that's on my YouTube channel. So go check out the YouTube channel. I post long form videos over there on how to improve your running form, sprint form, how to become a better athlete. Right? So let's get back to the holistic approach. The next thing you want to focus on here is your cadence and stride length. Don't overstride. Don't don't open the strides up too much. Don't stomp the ground. Pick your foot up, pull out of the ground, step out of the ground. I would say focus on developing hip strength, learning to come from the hip, whether you run or sprint. These are the things that's going to help you. That's how you focus on the holistic approach. The next thing you want to focus on here is arm strength and posture, because it doesn't matter what shoes you have on your feet. If you are not running correctly, the shoes doesn't matter. Next thing you want to focus on here is foot strike. How's your foot hitting the ground? Because it doesn't matter what shoes you have on. If you're flat footed, if you're trying to sprint, or if you're rolling the foot, whatever you're doing, your how your foot hits the ground is going to impact how you perform, and how doesn't matter what shoes you're wearing. The next thing you want to do is listen to your body, right? Some days you may feel good, some days you may not feel good. Listen to your body. Not every day you get up when you try to kill yourself with mileage if you're trying to run. You need structured training, you need guidance. Again, this is where I come in. I offer online training. If you're trying to run, if you're trying to sprint, I offer online training. So figure out what you're trying to do and give me a shout. Write me on, I think inbox on Instagram is the way to go right now. That's the one that I see the most. Next thing you want to focus on here is listen to your body. The next thing you want to focus on is recovery, rest and recovery. Um, Rome wasn't built in a day. And it, like, if you're trying to run, so for example, I'm trying to run 48 seconds in the 400. Not every day I get up, I'm going to go to the track and run close to 48 seconds or run 48 seconds. That's not the best way to do it, right? You want to push some days and then rest some days. You want to have days where you're doing active rest. Right? You want to listen to your body. You want to recover properly. I could do a little bit better in the recovery part, but I'm sacrificing it for you guys. So make sure you guys like, subscribe. If you're following me over here on YouTube, share the video, share it with somebody. Um, Next thing you want to focus on here, which is big, is hydration and nutrition. Um, Again, this is an untapped market right here. Most athletes don't give a damn about nutrition. They care a little bit about hydration because they understand the importance of muscle cramps and stuff like that. We learn this as athletes, but nutrition, most athletes, they think it doesn't matter. They're like, okay, like the really good ones have nutritionists, but the most athletes don't care. So if you're somebody who's looking to improve, you need to focus on your nutrition. Don't put unhealthy stuff in your body. Um, be consistent with what you're eating. Try to eat whole foods. It's not, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be consistent with the right actions. And the last thing you want to do is avoid overtraining. I see this so much with young kids, young athletes training too much, too hard, and not getting no results. And then they're thinking because they have the perfect running shoe or they have the latest running shoe, they're going to be the best athletes. It won't work, right? So guys, that's the video. If you're just now tuning in, I'm gonna be taking some questions. So I'm gonna go back up in the comments and look at some questions here. And yeah, the full video will be posted on YouTube. So if you're just now coming in and you wanna see the full video, go over to YouTube. And I'm jumping off one of these socials first. I think Instagram is the first one to go. Um, so on my Instagram, please let me scroll through and see if there's any real messages for your boy, because Instagram, these people over here chirping sometimes. Let's see. So um, you, your name is Bice Track Club. And you're asking, so when's a good time to switch from spikes to cross training shoe in season? Um, this is a loaded question. Send me an inbox. I could get more in detail with this question, but this is a loaded question. It depends on what the athlete is trying to do. Like, when is the next meet? There's so many variables. I have so many questions here. When is the first meet? I train 2 to 3 days a week in sneakers, or you guys call them cross trainer and shoes. I train 2 to 3 days per week in my cross training shoes, even in competition season. So it all depends on when the next competition is. Have you seen the running shoe made by SmithDifference.com? No, it seemed like you're trying to plug yourself, bro. Good morning. It's nighttime. Where are you? It's literally 9:20 right now, bro. Where are you?
Probably India.
Good morning. Which one which one better? Carbon fiber plate or cushion shoe for HM and FM? I don't understand what HM and FM is, but um carbon fiber plate and cushion shoe. I think it all depends on what you're trying to do. I think the cushion one is gonna be more for impact. Carbon fiber is gonna be more for performance. Like if you're trying to maybe sprint as fast as you can and you don't want to wear spikes or something like that, it's gonna be more reactive. But I think the cushion one is gonna be more for the road running, different surfaces, like harder surfaces. When I hear cushion, I think somebody who's running on harder surfaces. That's what I think. Or is it okay to run a race if you're sick? Depending on what type of sickness you have. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know it's a car company. I knew it. They make like McLaren makes some very nice cars, but apparently their cars, the upkeep is crazy. Like apparently they go like they get what would you call it? They get almost when your car is nice, but sometimes things always happen into it. Like repairs, you always have to do repairs on it. Apparently, that's what I heard. It's a very expensive in terms of upkeep. How could you please give me advice? My foot replacement. What? For my foot? Oh, I thought you said foot replacement. For my foot placement when running, I always land mid-track more on ball my foot when running casual. That's fine. That's where you want to be. Mud up. What a name? Mud up. That's where you want to be. You want to be on that midfoot. How long are your runs? Thank you for sharing your tips. You're welcome. All right, Instagram I go right now. Instagram I go in a 5 minutes. Instagram gone. Can you explain? Can you explain about pre-workout nutrition? Dude, this is a perfect question for you. Can you explain about pre-workout nutrition?
Pre-workout, like pre-training.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you ask him or her what time of the day are you training?
Oh yeah. So Singji, what time of the day are you training, sir? Singji, again. Your name is hard to pronounce. I'm seeing your message late. Do you read the Bible before you run, or if so, what Bible verse? Yes, I read Psalms. I read Psalms, and I read Psalms 1 verse 1. Psalms 1 verse 1. That's what I read.
I
I read Psalms 1. So let me type that in here. 1 verse 1. Read it and tell me what you think. That's the one I read. Does reading the Bible make you faster? No, bro. Training makes you faster. Training makes you faster, not reading the Bible. I think reading the Bible is more of a mental thing, like just being spiritual and having that confidence in yourself, and trying to, if there's any type of negative, and it's almost like meditation almost. But you can't get up and read the Bible and think you're gonna run fast, but you gotta go to the track and train hard. All right, let's see over here. So when I'm doing my 300 all out, you do 300, bro. What? You do 300s. You do 300s all out repetition. Then you're not going all out then. How long is your rest between? I become sore at least 100-meter mark. You become sore while you're running. My curve is not good. What can I do? Maybe stop trying to run them all out. Maybe set target times for yourself. I can't pronounce your name. Sambucha. Your name is crazy. You can't run repeat 300 all out all the time, bro. You have to set target times for yourself. So for example, you want to run 33 seconds for 300. So when you come to training and it's a day where you have 300s, you want to be comfortable running them at 35 seconds in your flats with 5 minutes rest in between. That's another plug right there. Do you read the Bible before you run? And so yeah, that's I already answered that. Any more question over here from the ground before we go? How many times do you recommend strength training per week? So guys, this is a good question. So I'm gonna ping it because I'm gonna make a video about it. So it says, how many times per week do you recommend strength training? So fun fact, I've came out of programs where they strength train 3 times a week. I've been in programs where they strength train 2 times per week. Um, I think it depends on the level of the athlete. So if you're a beginner, you definitely want to be doing it a little bit more. But if you are somebody who's been strength training for a long time, you may want to switch things up, right? If you're an athlete who's been strength training before, you may want to cut back on it a little bit and focus on different aspects of training. Um, but that's a good question. There is no perfect there is no perfect method, man, for strength training. You have to experiment. You have to see based on the athlete what works. But I would say the sweet spot is 2 days per week with specific strength training, like specific strength training. Um, live, wait, yo, live up, come up, brother. You there? Come up, Mr. Livermore. And money, so, people. Every time I go live, we get real live Olympian fast people in the live. We have another one in here tonight. We have Jason Livermore, fast guy. Jamaica national champion in the 100, not just any event, the 100 for Jamaica. He's a funny guy too. Um, we got Liver in here tonight. Respect Liver, a long time not hear from you. Shoot me an inbox, brother. Best exercises for raw speed. What kind of question is this? The best exercises for raw speed? Sprints. Just sprint. If you're trying to find the best thing for raw speed, is going to be a raw sprint. Is running is running is running is about genetics like Olympics? What? Your question is not making no sense. Are you saying to make an Olympics, do you have to be genetically gifted? Yes, to a certain extent. But I've seen people who were genetically gifted who didn't make Olympics. So I think it takes dedication and self belief. You have to believe in yourself and nobody else does. Um, question says, would you I'm jumping off at 9:40 by the way, guys. I'm only doing an hour. The question says, how would you get back in track competition shape? Um, good question. Who is this? destiny. If you're trying to get back into track, this is where I come in. I train multiple athletes who were former athletes who are just now becoming, they're falling in love with the sport again. And I find that a lot of athletes who used to do the sport and then try to come back, they try to come back too quick with no good guidance and it never lasts. So if you're serious about training, I can help you, right? And this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help athletes, former athletes, new athletes, people who are still in the sport. I'm here to help them realize their talents and fall in love with the sport again. So you seem like you're over here on YouTube. Um, come to Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. The link is in in my YouTube description. Follow me on Instagram and shoot me an inbox, and we can talk about it. But the best way to get back into is to get back into competition shape is to find a coach, get structured training, and start competing again. That's that's the short answer for you. That was free. Let's see. All right, Instagram is gone now. So everybody on Instagram, jump over here to
Oh, there was one more question.
on Instagram. There's multiple questions. This person is asking about. Oh, I'm not. However, I'm much distant. So yeah, but you didn't answer the last question. An athlete runs 800 meters in. That's pretty good. You run 1 minute and 51 seconds. How much distance total covered in a week? What? Man, stop asking me crazy questions, bro. But if you run 151 for 800, that's not bad.
I have a running shoe question on
Where?
there. Instagram.
I'm see so much people over here. Write it again.
Can I just say it?
Yeah, just ask me the question.
How many times do you have to change your shoes within a track season?
Ooh, how many times do you have to change your shoes during a track season? I like to go every 6 months. So I will use one just for indoor. And once I hit outdoor, I change it. And then I will use that one all outdoor. And then I will just have like one specific one for when I go to track meet because I want to be fresh when I go to a meet, if that makes sense. But for training wise, I'm gonna use one all outdoor. So I'm not gonna have 10 pair of running shoes for the whole outdoor season.
That means I'm due for a new pair.
You have to find one that you like though.
I want to try that on.
You like that one. Do you have any scheduled for? No, I don't have any. Hold on, hold on. I'm about to block this out over here, guys. We're go we're coming to an abrupt end. Oh, God, there's a bunch of singing right now. I don't care, guys. If you hear somebody in the background singing, don't worry about that. How to practice 400-meter hurdles. So the 400-meter hurdles is my specialty. Hurdles is my specialty. So I offer online programs for the hurdles. So if you're serious about hurdle training, Brent, shoot me an inbox. How can you recover from a hamstring injury? Rest, rest, and go find a physical therapist to get an evaluation. You need to know what level of tear you have. That's gonna be your biggest thing. All right. Instagram is gone now in five, four. Wait, Instagram is gone in five, four. Any more questions? Do you know? Do you know, bro? You don't know. This guy won Olympic gold in last year Olympics in javelin. Of course, I know that guy. He's from India. I know he didn't just win last year. He won the world championships too. I'll tell you what his name is right now. Hold on. Hopefully, I don't butcher it. His name is Nerjir Copra. His name is Copra. He's the real deal. He's been about the business though. Copra has been about the business. From India. Didn't India place in the 4x4 at Worlds? That's why everybody trying to run now because you could run. Like, there's lots of fast people out there. You need structured training, and this is where I come in. Structured training is my specialty. Most athletes don't have structured training. They go to the track and the coaches give them random workouts. And this is no shots at the coaches. Elementary? What age is elementary?
Mm. What grade?
Yeah, what grade? 8, 9?
Till six?
Yeah. That age, it
No,
doesn't,
like yeah, 8, 9, but 12 maybe.
at that age, it doesn't matter. Just give them something. They don't need to be doing training 5 days a week and shit. Pakistan. Somebody tuning in from Pakistan. Yo, don't Pakistan has a wicked cricket team? Who's like the top cricketer for Pakistan? How can I improve my 300-meter time? I want to make shorter time to put so think about the 300 meters. All right, Instagram. We're done with Instagram now. I'm gonna cut out. So everybody on Instagram, come over to YouTube. Instagram is done. We are out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Instagram gone. All right. Question is, how can I make my you run? What if I you? So think about the 300. The 300 is 3 100s. It is 3 times 100 meters. What is your fastest 100-meter? Are you running 11 seconds comfortably, 12 seconds comfortably? Because that will tell you how fast you can run for 300 meters. I hope that answers your question. Um, for 400-meter, pro athletes can comfortably run 10 seconds, 2 times, 3 times for 400 meters. Like the best 400-meter runners, they could run 10-second repeats. That's why they're so good. They could do 10-second repeats in their flats. Let's put it that way. No, you guys won't believe me, but I'm speaking from experience. Next question. Have you ever had inflammation around the center of your belt? No. Is that a question? This question says, have I ever had inflammation around the center of my pelvic? In your pelvic area. Oh, that's a groin injury, bro. You have a groin injury. Who faster ski? Faster ski. You have a groin injury. Rest is gonna help you. Rest. Don't go around the curve because think about your groin. They're stabilizing muscles for your legs. So when you go that when your foot hits the ground or your foot hits the ground and your legs take the impact, your groin is a stabilizer muscle. It literally stabilizes your upper body, right? So when your foot hits the ground and you make impact with the ground and your foot absorb and it goes up, right? And then your body shakes, your groin stabilize you from not shaking too much this way or shaking too much that way. It literally stabilizes the impact from the ground. So don't go turns too much. I would say rest because I've had a groin injury before. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's actually one of the worst injuries in for a sprinter because you can't pick your knees up. You cannot drive your knees up. How can we prevent these issues? Strength training, don't overtrain. Yes, strength training, don't overtrain. And when you train your groin or these areas, adduction and abduction will help. I'm gonna do a whole video on adduction and abduction, but what you want to do is l- the most the most important thing to do is work that small muscle. So you want to be laying on your side. Think about what your grind is. You want to lay on your side and do side leg raises. You want to do hamstring curls, stuff like that. There's so many stuff you could do, but the biggest ones, you strengthen the glutes, strengthen the hamstrings, strengthen your abductors and adductors. That's what help. So, all right, TikTok is done. It's been a pleasure, my guys. We have more informative videos coming your way. Stay tuned. Tonight is the first of many. Um, what is an ideal weight training schedule for a high school AAU athlete? I offer online strength training program for sprinters. So if you're interested in strength training, Derek Jackson, this is a weird name. Are you trolling right now, Mr. Derek Jackson? Are you the real Derek Jackson? Because I know the real Derek. I follow him. So maybe you're just a different Derek Jackson. Um, if you're interested in strength training, shoot me an inbox here on TikTok. I offer online programs for strength training, and these are proven programs. These are proven methods that works for sprinters. So you let me know, and this is a big part of sprinting fast because anybody can go to the track and run a workout, but it doesn't mean you're gonna sprint fast. TikTok is gone. So Derek Jackson, shoot me an inbox if you're serious. TikTok is gone in three, two, one, and all right. Only thing that's standing is the tube. You asked me if I own my own running track? One day, not right now. I don't own my own running track. I mean, if I was in Jamaica, my high school track would probably be considered my own running track, but not in Jamaica. Super fly, not max fly. Too sorry. Okay. If you made it to the end of the video, I took some questions at the end. If you're just now coming in, go watch the video over. Go watch it over. We talked about we talked about the importance of running shoe, and we debunked a lot of the myths around running shoes. So um as you guys can hear my voice, I'm getting tired. So we're gonna end this video right here. We're gonna come to you guys with more informative videos like these. So stay tuned.